Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Table Talk. I'm so excited for those of you that are watching. I see Portia watching and some of the others that I hope invite others to come and watch the show today. You know, on Table Talk, we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about family, we talk about faith. We really going to talk today about this journey of entrepreneurship. And I want to welcome my friend Jenny to the show. Hey, Jenny.
Hi, how are you?
So good. I'm so glad that you could join me today.
Thank
And
you.
I just want to start off, Jenny, just having you share a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into some of the questions that I have for you.
Okay, sure. Well, I'm Jenny Telwar, and I'm so honored to be here with my dear friend Yolanda. I've known you, how many years now? It's all going on almost 10 or 12 years.
Yes, almost 10 or 12. Absolutely.
We have been on an entrepreneurship female journey all this time together. I currently own America's National Teenager Scholarship Organization through Teen Success Today, which is the overseeing parent company. And I also do real estate full time here in Nashville with Sightland Sotheby's. So,
Great.
yeah.
So tell me a little bit. I've known about the pageant. I've been a judge in some of the activities they've done in Nashville several years ago. So tell me a little bit about why you started that. What made you want to start a pageant? You know, there's great, I've seen young women get great scholarships and be able to go off to college. And I know you started this years ago. Tell me a little bit about that journey and why you decided to start it.
Well, so I was really lucky. First of all, I actually competed in pageantry just for a year back in the Miss America system for scholarships. And nowadays, pageantry kind of gets a bad rap. There's been a lot of controversy, of course, with the Miss America program and some other programs. But pageantry as a whole was it was a life-changing moment for me. And luckily, I got the opportunity with a business partner to buy this program. So America's
Wow.
National Teenager was actually founded in 1970. We are getting ready to celebrate 50 years.
Wow.
Yes, which is really exciting because there's really very few businesses that even make it to 10 years nowadays. So we have been around for almost 50 years, and I got the opportunity to become a part of its journey in 2003. And I've been doing it now full time since 2003. And I just absolutely have loved all the girls that have passed through my program. And this year we have our event coming up in November. We do an annual our annual pageant where we have Miss Alaska and Miss Maine and Miss Florida, and that's what you've judged before. And
Yeah.
we've got all these girls coming in for our November event. And ironically, this year, for the first time, I have someone who competed with me in 2004 who's now bringing their daughter back. So I've kind of made this
Wow.
full circle now where the girls that were with me when they were in their she was an older teen in their older teen years now has a 7-year-old who she's now bringing into our program. So that's pretty fun, pretty exciting to kind of this
Absolutely.
full evolution now. And me, getting to impact these young girls, and now I'm getting to impact their daughters, which is really, really cool.
Oh, that's so cool to be able to watch that.
Yeah.
What are some of the things with the pageant program and business? What are some of the things that you're seeing with this next generation that may have been different when you did the pageants years ago?
A lot of people always ask me that about like our generational, the millennials. They kind of get a bad rap, I think.
Yeah.
Our program focuses on academics, community service, and interview, really just core basic life principles. And so for me, we always attract the overachiever. And there are, yes, despite what old people may think, there are millennials out there who are overachievers.
Exactly.
There are
Exactly.
millennials out there doing amazing things, and I'm just so lucky that we get to work with them. So honestly, I haven't really seen that much of a shift in changing of. Despite from the 90s to the 2000 to now we're in the almost 2020, the girls though are becoming even more powerful, I think, which is pretty cool to see.
Yes.
They're getting their voices earlier. They're taking a stand where they want in their beliefs, in their faith, in their family. They're taking a stand a lot earlier too, and they're very goal oriented. The opportunities for women nowadays are so much more wide open than they were even in the early 90s. And women and girls are now taking advantage of that more and are really excelling in areas that were traditionally closed. And I think that seeing that shift, seeing we're getting more world changers into our program. We're getting more goal-oriented girls, and their goals are bigger than they were 10 years and 15 years ago, which is pretty cool to see too.
Exactly.
And a lot of them have their own community service organizations. A lot of them have started their own not-for-profits. And that just something that wasn't seen a lot 20 years ago either. The foundations of business have really trickled down. And now I've got a lot of little entrepreneurs that are coming through my program at a very young age.
Yeah, that's exciting because
Yeah, which I didn't get started on my journey until I was 30.
exactly. And I was going to say the same thing. If I'd have known earlier, I would have started earlier. So it's so good to hear that and hear about the great things that the millennials and the young people are doing, that they're not waiting for someone to say, can you come over here to help? They're saying, I want to go help and I'm going to create my own organization.
Right.
I've seen them do that with the work that they did with Lawilla Village, who we both volunteer with, where they collected the different things for the program. They collected money, and it's amazing that they are taking on that initiative themselves, and not so much their parents are saying, I need you to go volunteer. We know some of that's happening, but just like you said, they're getting their voice early, and I think that's really important. And I remember one of the times that I did some judging, and I was so impressed during the interview parts of it.
I know
that they were very confident. They could get up and speak. And some of these were really young girls. And so I was really impressed to see that. And I really believe that training they're getting by going through the program is going to help them in corporate, when they go off to college. It's really training them for what's next for them.
100%. I mean, public speaking is what people say is one of the top 5 fears of most people. And the girls that I get to work with have no fear. They can stand up and take on a room of adults or from stage. And it's so empowering and fun to watch. And you're right. It's going to be the skills that carry them faster forward, for sure.
Exactly. So so what is next for the pageant organization? What do you guys see down the road that you want to do differently, or keep doing what you're doing? But what do you see innovatively, or what you can stand out among some of the others that are out there down the road?
We're never going to change our scoring system. That's something that's just going to academics, community service, interview. That's our focus, the real package, the real girl. But what we have found the last 10 years in that I've been kind of looking at the market, where actually, and ironically, I'm so glad you asked me that, because I'm ready to launch internationally.
Wow.
So next year we're going to be crowning a Miss Canada national teenager and a Great Britain national teenager just on the start of this. We already have lined up those positions for next year, which is really exciting. I've been trying to get this launched for years, and the climate just wasn't right. A lot of countries are not as open to teen pageantry as the United States. And that's understandable, because a lot of those competitions that I've tried to launch in those countries have included a swimsuit or a fitness competition or some sort of and some sort of physical fitness outfit that's not. A lot of countries just don't like their team
absolutely
wearing not a lot of clothes, right? So we don't have that element in our competition. Our competition is completely based on interview, academics, community service, and then it has an evening gown and a cocktail competition. So it's all very easy to compete in, and conservative, I would say, just in the sense of just the dress, and we don't have a swimsuit competition, and there's not that kind of thing out there. So a lot of countries have been very open to embracing us for that. And so that's our next leap, is really to get this ideal, because I have girls all sizes, all shape in my program.
Absolutely. That's good. I'm glad you shared that, because a lot of young girls think they can't do it because they're looking at what they've seen on the TV in the past and saying, I don't fit that mold, but I'm brilliant, I'm smart, I'm articulate, but I can't, compete in that. So it's so good to hear that.
We have girls that are wearing, size 20, size 22, size 24 evening gowns, and they can wear them confidently and speak from stage. And it's not that element is not important to us. I want the girl's heart and I want the girl's mind.
Absolutely.
World changers come in all shapes, all sizes, all colors, all ethnicities, all religions. World changers come from everywhere.
Absolutely.
And I embrace everyone.
That is so good. You just said something about the swimsuit. I know they cut out the swimsuit in the Miss America this year.
Good.
What are your thoughts about that?
You know, being a non-proponent of swimsuit, that didn't bother me too much. And in fact, the year I competed with the Miss America program, we had to go barefoot on stage because it was like they've been playing around with the swimsuit thing since 1996.
Wow.
They've been trying to do everything they can to kind of minimize it within the program, I think, and taking it away really didn't bother me. I wasn't affected by that. I thought that was maybe a change for the good. I know they've been trying to make a lot of other changes, and that's all still to be seen, I think. And honestly, as an entrepreneur, as you know, we got to stay in our lane and just focus on our stuff. We cannot worry about our competitions.
Absolutely. 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 You're so right. And as we're talking about entrepreneurship, we both are on this journey. And tell me a little bit about what made you decide to want your own business, whether, I know we're going to talk a little bit about the real estate work that you're doing, but what made you and how long have you actually been doing it? Did you work for a company and then leave and make a transition out? Or did you just jump right out after college?
No, I totally was in the employee mindset. My parents were school teachers when I was growing up. I was told, go to college, get a degree, get a job. And that's exactly what I did. And I worked in that field until I got married and then got pregnant and had my own child. And then I realized I wanted to be able to be at home. And my ex-husband and I talked about it, and he said, yeah, let's do that. At that time, let's do that. And we decided for me to stay at home. And ironically, I became an entrepreneur merely by chance. The opportunity arose when my daughter was, I just had my second daughter at the time. And so she was 1 and my oldest was 3. And it just came along. And I thought I can incorporate this into my day and still, because I loved the idea of working with the youth. And I said I could do this during the day and still be with my kids. And that balance was what brought me into entrepreneurism. But now I'm addicted. I mean, I couldn't imagine it any other way.
Right.
And I think that blindness of getting into it, that of just like, oh, this will work. I really didn't think about it. I didn't really put too much thought into it. It was just something that naturally happened. And so I've learned a lot the hard way.
I think we all have.
Is another way to put that, though. I didn't have, it wasn't one of those things that I did a lot of my due diligence on. In fact, when my business partner and I were trying to buy this at the time, we were trying to buy this, and we talked to a bunch of attorneys, and we were in the process of negotiating this business. But it's a really unique business. It's not one that has. It's an annual event. It's not one that has a long continuity or people understand it.
Right.
We went to several attorneys, and every attorney told us, you don't buy a business like this. We're not going to help you.
Really?
I mean, we were told 3 or 4 times, you don't buy a business like this. I can't help you. And we just kept saying, nope, we've said yes. We're just going to figure out how. We've said yes. We're going to figure out how. And finally, one of the attorneys that we met with called me back the next day, and he said, okay, he goes, I'm going to help you with this against my better judgment. But he says, I know you're going to do it anyway, and you need the help because I don't want you, so I am going to help you. And then he ended up being our attorney for like 12, 15 years.
Wow.
So, yeah. And he I had to prove to him that I believed in it enough to make it happen. And, so, that's the thing, though, is kind of like I didn't think about it much. And I think when people want to start businesses, sometimes the overthinking can paralyze you. Yes. I do say do your due diligence and get professional advice on things. Don't just wing it all the time.
Exactly.
But definitely.
But if you're passionate about it, figure out how you can do it. Because you guys could have left there and said, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this. 100%. But you had that passion for it and you believed in it, and you're like, we can make this work. We're going to do it.
Exactly. And it was blind passion and just pure determination, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know you are a serial entrepreneur. So
I guess.
So
Well,
now
in all honesty,
you're doing the pageant, and now you're doing real estate.
yes.
So
And
tell me, how did that come about, that you got into real estate? Was that you wanted another stream of income, or you just wanted to do something different? Tell me a little bit about that journey.
yeah. Well, so the pageant's an annual event, and as my children aged, it kind of became more seasonal. The pageant became more seasonal, and with that, I found myself dabbling a little bit with my husband's interests, which were my ex-husband at the time. He was involved in some real estate and some restaurants and bars and things around Nashville. We had a lot of little different things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the real estate thing was very intriguing to me, and I started kind of through osmosis learning a little bit about how that worked. Well, in 2012, we got divorced, and in 2012, I thought, I saw the real estate market going up. It was something that I really kind of just had a natural passion in too. Like it just
Yeah,
contract side of it, um, the evaluation side of it. I just really enjoyed it. Well, and I got into it in 2012, not really knowing if it was going to be a full-time career or just something to dabble in.
mm-hmm.
And again, through the chain of events, I worked in new construction for 2 years. That experience really solidified me on how big real estate can be for people. Like it's a home, and
Yeah,
it's a big deal, and it really does matter how that process goes. It's the biggest investment most people make or sell in their life. Not everyone
absolutely.
buys a business or creates a business like we have. So that house is their business in a lot of ways. It's their equity, it's their home, and it's where they want to either be for, I mean, it's where they're going to live most of their life, a third of their life,
Exactly.
sometimes at 25 years. So getting into that really then solidified what I love about the pageant, which is helping girls succeed, helping people succeed. And I like having those wins along the way with people and getting them to the finish line on something that they love.
Right.
That's what it became. And now I'm so blessed I get to work with a lot of seniors who are downsizing or right sizing.
Oh, that's great.
And it's so wonderful to walk them through that process. And then I get to work with a lot of first time home buyers, again, millennials. And they are so excited. I mean, the day that the first time home buyers walk into that house, it's just, I'm there with them usually when they do it. And it's so joyous. It's just so wonderful. Well, and when I got to work with Rose.
Yes, I remember watching that process. And one of the things that stood out to me with you is the time you took. Because a lot of times, first time home buyers, they don't understand the whole process. And I've seen a lot of them get not good deals. And you were very patient with them through that whole process. And you stuck right with them until the very end. What is the one thing that really just excites you when you're going through that process with someone buying or selling their home?
Well, when we find the one, that's always exciting. When we
Yeah.
find the house that's just perfect. I always meet with my clients, and we do a list. We do a list of 9 things that they need or want. And I always try to get them all of what they need, but most of what they want. And
Yeah.
when we find that house that has 8 out of 9, it's like, woo, it's party time.
Exactly.
And then it's and then walking through that process, it can get tedious. Inspection processes can get tedious. Appraisal processes can get tedious, but getting to the finish line and knowing we made it, and then I think, like I always said, like I try to go back. I do housewarming parties. I think you came to the
Yeah,
housewarming
I came
party.
to one.
Yeah,
I love that idea.
yeah.
Yes.
Because that's when it really starts feeling like a home, and it
Yeah.
really starts becoming real. I don't know if it becomes real when you sign on the paper yet. It's when you
Right.
get your stuff in there. It's when you get settled. It's when you order your new things. It's when you have a housewarming party. It's when you open it to your friends. That's when it really
Exactly.
becomes real. So I love being there at that point because it makes it exciting and kind of makes all the other tedious stuff go away.
Exactly. So this entrepreneurship journey, it can be a grind. So what advice, we talk about this a lot. Like I was telling Jenny earlier, it's like some mornings I wake up and say, I quit or I fire myself. Then the next morning I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. So we know it's a constant grind. But if there's a young person watching us and is thinking about launching out and being an entrepreneur, what advice would you give them?
Oh, so book on entrepreneurism. It is a day. It's a daily up and down, right? Hourly sometimes, depending on the what's going on, the event,
Absolutely.
climate, whatever. But I think I have been so impressed with a lot of the innovation that is coming from millennials,
Yeah.
from young people. They see the world in this technology way that we are trying to still learn.
Exactly.
They already are there and beyond. And the I think for me, I think the best advice I could give an entrepreneur is no idea is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Somebody may be doing it, you could do it better, or you could create some new innovation around that concept that's already out there. But no idea is a bad idea. You
Mm-hmm.
just may have to tweak it a few times before you get it right. And failure is inevitable.
Yeah.
And it may not be a failure necessarily to the outside world. It may just feel like an internal failure, but
Yeah.
that's okay too. Like overcoming the internal failure is just as big as overcoming maybe an external failure. But regardless, in entrepreneurship, both are going to happen. You
Absolutely.
just have to roll with it. And you can't take it all so seriously. Like I have learned after years of just the labored sleep or the waking up in the night, like you just can't take it so seriously. Like you only got one life.
Exactly.
Live it to the best that you can. Do the best you can. You're not going to make everybody happy.
Right.
But if you can make most of the people happy and you can make yourself happy and you can make those around you and your family happy, then it's worth it. So you just
Exactly.
have to it's all about perspective.
Absolutely. You had said that failure is can it can look different to everybody, and what I see is that failure is not a bad thing. It just teaches you something. If you can learn from that and you can take that and say, okay, that didn't work for this situation. It may work for something else, but don't look at it as I have failed and I can't do it, but look at
Exactly.
it as a learning experience and take that piece, even if it's something that you didn't do well, that you could have done better, take that and the next time kind of put that in place and not allow that failure to have you in fear and then you can't move forward.
And it'll happen.
Yes,
There's micro failures and there's macro failures, and the macro failures will come and you do feel like you can't move forward. And there have been times that I have been paralyzed in fear for months. I
mm-hmm.
mean, it's just when I didn't know what was going to happen next or where it was going to come from, where was the relief in sight, when was it going to get better.
Exactly.
And it's tough. It's tough to get through that, but that's also just a part of the life fabric we live in. I mean, that's whether you work for somebody else or you're in entrepreneurship, it's going to
Exactly.
happen that way too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing that drives people or has kept me in the game of entrepreneurship for 20 years is that it does come down to me. I like feeling that responsibility to myself.
Yes.
And I think that is what's going to drive an entrepreneur to stay in the game through thick and thin, is
Mm-hmm.
that responsibility and obligation that I feel to my core that I'm doing what I'm meant or was called to do. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and there are people benefiting from it, and I am having I'm helping people and I am providing value. And as long as I
Absolutely.
continue to do that, then at the end of the day I can breathe easy knowing that my place on this earth, this short time that I'm here, has been one of contribution.
Absolutely. And as you talk about that giving back and helping people, both of us do a lot of philanthropic work.
Mhm.
You're really involved in a lot of philanthropy. We've done some things together with some organizations. And for me, that's very important to me, for me to be able to give back.
Yeah,
Tell me how that's played out in your journey with the give back portion of what you do as an entrepreneur and as a philanthropist.
for sure. Well, I feel like that sometimes people call me a socialpreneur because I have so much of that philanthropic thing going on. But right now with our passion and a nationwide effort, we work with like the Lula Village Ministries.
Mhm.
We were able to put 100 girls in that school and build them 100 desks, which was
Yes.
just, and that's in the Congo, which you
Mhm.
visited. I can't wait to go.
Yes. I
Um,
can't wait for you to go with us. It's going to be great.
I know, it's on my list. I've got to get it
Yes.
done. But that was very significant again because it aligned with my core of female education and empowerment, and that's what we were able to provide those girls in that village. another facet of our entrepreneur or our philanthropic right now is the Miss Amazing pageant, and the Miss Amazing pageant is a pageant for disabilities. It's nationwide,
Oh,
and so it
I love that.
oh it's incredible and life changing to spend that time at those events. And there's state events, and then there's a national event, and our organization's involved on all those levels, and we get to be with the girls. And so it's a different way to think about pageantry, and it's so rewarding. And so I definitely encourage you to check it out. missamazing.org, that's really a great one.
Yeah.
luluvillageministries.org is the other one. And then you know, through we do Operation Christmas Child with
Yeah,
the shoe boxes, because that's just something tangible, right? That's like gifts, and it's
absolutely.
like touch. Where the rest of the stuff we do is either we're on site to help with the girls during the pageant, the disabilities pageant, or we are just raising funds, right?
Fun.
I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to the dollar sometimes with some organizations.
Exactly.
Locally, I'm really excited. I'm going to be a candidate for Nashville's Woman of the Year this year.
Ah,
Lymphoma Leukemia Society, their
yes.
big campaign. So that's going to be 11 weeks of madness. Everybody will hear me asking them for help for that.
Yes. Yes. We'll make sure we share that. Yes.
Again, a great cause, and something that affects so many Tennesseans locally here. And the money, tries to really stay local to help a lot of families that are struggling with leukemia and lymphoma. So, I just feel like it's a part of my daily life, and I feel like that giving back and helping others, everything we do has an impact, and it can be positive or negative. And if we take the time to do just a little bit of something, pack a shoebox for Operation Christmas Child, or go down to Second Harvest Food Bank, like just one little thing, it makes an impact. It's a ripple in a pond. And as you know, with your heart and how we are led by our hearts,
Yes.
it's gratifying, and it's not about our self-gratifying. It's not like we're saying, oh wow, we did that. It's about look who we've helped. Look what we've been able to accomplish together as a unified spirit, because nobody does it alone.
Absolutely.
And look what we've been able to accomplish and help these other people. And so it's just part of my core.
Absolutely. Mine too. I mean, I couldn't do this work if I didn't have an opportunity to do that part of it. And so I want to encourage you guys to really, as an entrepreneur, figure out how you can give back. You may not do the same things that we're doing, but you may have an organization in your city or in your community that you can go serve in or you can give to. But I think it does something for us when we're able to help someone else, and it's not about us. And so I encourage you to do that. Jenny, how can they reach you if we have a first-time home buyer looking for a realtor? How can they reach you?
Well, for real estate, I'm with Zeitlin Sotheby's International Company here in Nashville. So you can go to zeitlin.com and you can pull me up there and contact me there. If you are a girl who wants to expand her horizons a little bit, a teen girl, and wants to get into maybe some teen pageantry that's based on academics, community service, and interview, I would love to have you. And then you can go to National Teen, TEEN, nationalteen.com, and contact us through that, and we can get you some information on your state. That's in all 50 states, so we can get you information in any state that you're interested in.
So teen girls, if you're ready, academics, would you say academics, service,
and interview.
So there are many of you out there that can do that. Scholarships involve meeting other young women from across the country. I remember with my younger sister, she was Miss Black Arkansas. And she was able to connect with other women from all over that are doing the pageants. And then she ran for Miss Arkansas. Yes, Tiara. Yes.
Well, and there's a sisterhood in pageantry that's very unique. You stay with those girls a long time. Some of my dearest friends still are all from the pageant world.
Exactly. So reach out, young girls, if you want to get involved in that. And I want to thank you, Jenny, for coming on and hanging out with me for a little bit and letting people hear your story and about the work that you're doing and the impact you're making in the community. And I just want to encourage those that are watching and who will watch later to reach out to Jenny if you have a teen daughter. And also, if you're looking to buy your first home, you can reach out to her that way. So I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. And I wanted to see if we had any questions. I see we have a few people on. Let's see if anybody had any questions. You guys can post them later as well. And I will make sure that Jenny gets those questions. So thank you, Jenny, again for joining me tonight.
For doing what you're doing. You know, you spread a bright light in this world, and I'm just honored to get to be a part of it. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you guys again for joining us for Table Talk, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.